Hey there! In this video, we are going to design this hose adapter. Where are you? We need to go from this sump pump down to something smaller so that I can use it in my vapor blaster. But you can use it for any old generic adapter. It doesn't have to be T-fitting. But let's go and make that. So I've got a new document. I'm going to start with a new sketch and I'm going to put it on this bottom plane here. Can I click on that bottom plane? I need the, where's it, flash? Come back, come on. There it is. Okay, so I need this to slip into there. So I need it to be 24.32. I'm going to make it slightly bigger so that it's a push fit. So 25, let's do it like that. So, so much bigger. So we're going to start with a circle up here. I'm going to find the center point, click once, drag out. Don't even drag out. Okay, I click once and just click once in the middle. Okay, let go. And then you can just drag it out. Okay, and then just type over the top. So what did we decide it was? 24.5. Okay, so 24.5. Here we go. I want it to slide into the pipe a bit. I'm looking at my ruler here. I want it to come up 25 mils. So I've got a third mouse button. Okay, you can use this orbit tool here, okay, to do the exact same thing. Find out what the shortcut is on your mouse. On mine is I can use my middle button and hold shift, but you can use the tools down here, okay? So I won't tell you how to use the orbit tool anymore. Hit escape to get rid of the orbit tool, and we are going to go to the extrude tool, which is the E key. Okay, and with it selected, okay, you can drag it up. I want this to be 25 mil. Okay, perfect. You might be using inches. That's okay. Just type it in there and hit enter. Now I want something the hose can like butt up against. Plus I'm going to use it for this piece here for my T. You might not need this. You might only have to do a little short piece here. You don't have to have a piece there at all. I just want something that the hose can kind of like slam up against when I push it on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a sketch on which plane. I'm going to do it on this top circle here. I'm going to use that as the plane. I'm going to click that once. Okay, and I'm going to draw a circle. Okay, and this circle is going to be how big? About that big. I don't mind how big it is as long as it overlaps. Now I'm going to extrude that up, hit the E key again. Okay, and I'm going to click both this once, just with my left mouse button, this one as well, and just drag it up. How far? If you want it to be just like 3 mils or whatever imperial version that is, just to have that little lip there, you don't need it at all. But I need a big chunk because that's where I want this T piece to come off. So I'm going to do 25 as well. Not 205, 25 mil. Perfect. All right, same again. I want another sketch. Okay, and I'm going to click on this top face. I'm going to grab my circle. I'm going to click in the middle and make this the size. I went and double checked it. That was actually too small. I was like, that doesn't seem like the right size. Turns out I just double checked it. It is, what is it? 16.4. So I'm going to make it 16.6, just a little bit bigger. And that is going to be the hose that it needs to go to. Same again, E for extract, click on this, and I'm going to drag it up. Well, I'm going to type in 25, and that's going to be my main adapter. If you are going to go no further than this, because that's all you have to do, I'll show you how to finish it off now if you don't need a T-piece, and then we'll add the T-piece. So what I want to do is get the flow. It's water going through there, and that's not a great kind of flow through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab modify, I'm going to go to chamfer, and I'm going to click on this inner ring here. See that little ring there? Click on that and drag it out, and I want it to go to the edge there. So 7.1, 7. I just keep going up until it goes, I can't do it, it's too far. 7.4, too big, it overlaps. 7.3 though, nope, 7.2 is as big as it's gonna get. No, 7.1, that's as big as it's gonna get. Same for the bottom here. Again, I'm just orbiting around, modify, chamfer. I'm gonna grab that ring and I'm gonna come out till it reaches. It's got very little in there, so 2 mil, 2.3, 2.7, 2.8. If anybody knows a way of like getting it to actual jump out to that edge there, I don't know how to do that. Let's click OK. So now we've got some flow. If you want to hollow it out now, because you don't want to put the T-piece in, you can just go to this one here called shell. Click on the top surface here. I want this to be 1.5 millimeters, which gives you a tough enough, you might need it to be tougher, okay, but it does restrict the flow. 1.3 mils of plastic is plenty strong enough in my opinion. And what it's done is it's kind of hollowed it out except for the bottom. The bottom is still solid, but the rest of it, can you see it's hollow and it follows those chamfers? Okay, the next thing you need to do is hollow out this bottom bit. You can't use this shell again. You need to extrude it. And it's really hard to see because it's way down there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to kind of view the inside of projects. We're going to go to inspect. Okay, and we're going to come down to this one called section analysis. This is super handy. You got to pick on which axis you want it to be. So which one do I want it to be? doesn't matter, this one or that one. Okay, I'm going to click, actually any of these would work. I'm going to click on this and it's going to cut it in half. And it's not really cutting it in half, it's just previewing it. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. So I can see inside of this thing, it's still whole. You can turn your analysis on and off over here while you're working. That's super handy. You can have more than one analysis. What I want to do is be able to see this bottom plate. Get on with it, Dan. Okay, let's click on E for extrude again. I'm going to click on this plate here and I'm going to drag it down so it cuts it. There you go, got a hole in the bottom. Turn the analysis off, turn the analysis on. You can see there's a bit of flow going on. The reason I'm using chamfer rather than this one here, fillet, for the rounded edges, it just 3D prints easier when it's a 45-degree angle. All right, so I'm going to turn that off because I want to put my T-piece in before I hollow it out. You could do it afterwards, it's just easier to hollow it in one go. So I'm going to say right-click this one, delete the extrude, right-click the shell, delete that one, and it's back to being fully solid. Let's turn the analysis off and let's put in the T-piece. Okay, so we need a plane along here. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the construction. So these planes are just something to build off. Okay, you can build off like we did here, the tops of these cylinders. Okay, but there's nothing over here to build off. So I'm going to go construct. I'm going to say I would like a tangent plane. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. What do we want it to be tangential to? This cylinder in the middle. Just click anywhere. Okay, and you can rotate it around. I don't need to because it doesn't matter which way this is coming out. That's perfect. It gives me something to draw on. I'm going to click OK. It gives me something to draw on. So now I can create a sketch on top of this. Okay. I'm using this hand tool here to pan. Again, my middle mouse button, clicking and dragging, just drags it around. Hold shift and that same middle button orientates it. Okay, you can use the orbit tool, but you can use these down here if you can't work out how to do it on your own keyboard. So I want to not be looking at an angle. Okay, you can click on front. So I'm looking straight at it again. I now need to find the center of these two. You could just draw it anywhere. And we've got it here. Okay, that kind of works. It's a little offset, it won't really matter. What I like to do though is I'm going to undo that using Command Z or Control Z on a PC. I'm going to project these two lines. So project just means, hey, I see lines there. They're not part of this drawing. Okay, but if I hit the P key to project, I can say you and you are okay. Okay, it just means that these get thrown out to the drawing you're done, and it gives you something to measure off. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the front view. And what I want to do is I want to draw a circle somewhere in the middle. Okay, so the cool thing about it is it's hard to find the middle unless you've got these lines here. It's a little hard to see on screen, but can you see, because these two dots are here, I'm not using them for anything else other than watch when it gets close to the middle of them. It goes, boop, look. See the little triangle there? It's like I'm in the middle. And then you can just kind of drag down and it will try and find the center of them there. Okay, how high this is, we could measure up, but because it's only half of 25, but I'm happy with the height being a little bit eyeball, close one eye, center. How big is this one going to be? Let me check. It is, oh, the flicking. The flicking is driving me mad. You go away. Okay, this one's going to be 9.78. Let's make it 9.9. It's going onto a rotary hose, so there's a bit of flexibility there. 9.9. Remember that, Dan. All right, 9.9. That'll do. Perfect. Okay, hit enter to close. You don't have to close the sketch actually, but I want to rotate it around just to show you. So it's not actually flat against that. It's just, touching at the tangent. So what I want to do now is hit the extrude key again, the E key. I want to come out. How far? I want to come out 25. Why not? Feels a bit long for this one because it's a lot skinnier. Let's come out 20 mil. Plenty of room for the hose to go on. And also I want it to go both sides because at the moment there's a gap. Can you see the gap there? Yeah, there you go. Okay, so I'm going to say not just one side, I'm going to do two sides. Actually, yeah, two sides. So I'm going to drag this out. I don't really care about this one. I'm just going to drag it so it's inside of that body. Okay, by default it wants to cut it. Okay, I want to say actually join that thing. Okay, so they're all become one unit. Click OK. Now it's all one unit. Turn our analysis back on. You can see it's one giant unit. Let's turn analysis off. Let's add a chamfer to this one. I add the chamfers to these mainly not for flow so much as strength. This here could be broken off. It's a real right angle. It's exactly a right angle, but how big do I want this chamfer? I think that looks good. It's going to add a bit of strength. Okay, across there, that looks perfect. Next, let's hollow this thing out. Okay, slightly different from before, as in I can do the top part. Okay, 1.5 mil, hit enter, and let's turn our analysis back on. You can see it's done the top, but it's not done the bottom like it did before, but it's not also done this part here. Okay, so just like before, E for extract, grab you, drag it down at some random, as long as it's past that edge there. It's set to cut, which is great. Let's click OK. Same for over here. E key, U, drag it this way, and we're through. Cool. This is where you might leave it as well. What I want to do is I want to put a couple of barbs on it, just so that, I'll show you here, put these barbs on. Okay, you don't need them, but it gives you something to clamp around and against. I forgot to put one on that. Whoops. Okay, but yeah, you don't need these, but let's do it anyway because it's good learning. And it does helps them stop slipping off. So what we need to do is we need to draw something on this edge along here, a little triangle or a round thing, and wrap it all the way around. So let's do that. So I need a plane to draw against. Okay, the tangent one's not going to work, mainly because you want to draw like parallel to this edge over here, and it's nowhere near it. Okay, so I'm going to hit escape. What we're going to use is we're going to go construct, and we're going to use this one here, plane along path. Okay, so which path are we going to use? Oh, I can't remember. I think it's this top one. Yep, perfect. So you can have it anywhere. Okay, I'm going to leave mine where it was. Doesn't really matter in this case. I'm going to click OK. And now if I go to the front view, it's going to give me something to draw against at this angle. It's got this yellow square here. You can draw it anywhere on this plane. They just keep it small so that's not the whole thing's yellow. Okay, so I could draw my little triangle down here to wrap it around. Just so you know that yellow thing is not the boundary. So I'm going to grab a sketch. I'm going to do it on this plane. Okay, and then I'm going to zoom in. Depends what you want. Triangles work, but they are just a little harder to print. I find the peak of them just pops off. Okay, so I like rounded ones, but let's do both. Let's do the one that I want to do, and then I'll show you a triangle, just because there'll be times where you do want it. First of all, I'm going to cancel that out. If you do end up finishing a sketch, can you see down here on my timeline? Okay, these are all of the things that we've done. It's still there. If I look under sketches, there it is there. Okay, called sketch 5. I'm going to double click the word sketch 5, and I'm going to call it the rib. Let's call it a rib. Finish sketch. If you do need to go back into them, you can either double click this icon or double click it over here. It doesn't matter. They'll open up that sketch that you've half done, okay, with nothing in it. I'm just going to do an ellipse. There we go. So actually, escape. Let's hit project. Again, I want to find the center of this, and it's easier when I've got that line. So I've hit project, click on that one and that one, click OK. And now it couldn't see those things before. Now, because you projected them onto the sketch, you can see them and just use them as a way of finding the center, or at least lining things up. Can you see the dotted line that appears? It's really faint there. Can you see it? I'll get the editor to zoom in, but you can see there it is there. And where's my middle? I don't want it to be in the middle, but I want it definitely along this line. And I want it kind of further towards the front here. How big? 1 mil. That's worked good for me. Okay, and now we need to spin it around. So we need to finish the sketch, and there's this one up the top here called revolve. I'm going to click on that. It's already got my profile selected because I had it selected. If it didn't, okay, or it's got the wrong one selected, you can cross it and say I want you to be the profile and the axis to be just this edge here. You can click on the edge of the cylinder and that will revolve around it. At the moment, it's cutting a hole into it. Great for an O-ring, okay, bad for keeping hoses on. So I want it to not cut, but I want it to join that original body here. And you notice the circle had two sides, right? The bit sticking out and the bit sticking in. I'm not worried about it because I can't see it, okay? Because it's actually inside of my 1.5 here, so I'm not worried about it. Let's click join, and that is him. That is my little ribbed hose adapter. I'm just gonna go around and do it for all of them. I'll do the triangle one next, just cause. Let's give that a go. Basically the same. Let's go do the same thing. So I'm going to say construct. I want plane along a path. Which path? I want it to be this one. I click OK. I'm going to do a sketch on it. Can barely see it there. Cool. And I've done it on the other side. Doesn't matter. I am going to use the polygons. If you're looking for a triangle, there is no triangle. It's a polygon with 3 sides. We'll need all 3 of these at different times. Okay, do you have the measurement to the flat face? Do you have the measurement to the point? Or in this case, I want the measurement along the edge of the polygon. So I want the 3 sides to be 1 mil. So that's the measurement I have. That's what you kind of look at in these little icons here. A little bit hard to see, but like, am I measuring? Yeah. The points. Am I measuring to the flat faces, or am I measuring to along one of the edges? That's what I'm doing here. Cool. I can't get it on the edge. Oh, it's done it. It can see this line. Okay, can you see it's got the dotted line here? It's probably from my other drawing. Oh, it's not. How did you get there? I have no idea. But it's lining up and we'll take it. Okay, so I'm going to click once along there. How long is this edge? Okay, you've both got degrees and measurements. So the first one's highlighted. So because it's blue and already highlighted, I can just type over the top 1. Okay, 90 degrees is perfect. I'm going to hit enter, and then it's highlighted the degrees, right? And it's giving me a default hexagon, pentagon, hexagon. I want to go with hexagon. It's going to go 3-sided though, so it's a triangle. And I'm going to click enter, and we're going to do the exact same thing. I can move this thing, okay, by double clicking on the inside and going the M key for move. Actually double click the outside and the inside and move it down. Okay, when you're moving something, if I grab just the center and move it, it's not going to like it. The center won't move because this is separate and it's like, hey, I'm not going anywhere, so I'm not. So if you need to move something, hit the M key for move, double click on the line around the outside and the center, and then you should be able to move it. That feels about right. Okay, so I'm going to close down the move window. I'm still inside the sketch. I am going to close down the sketch and I'm going to do what I did before. Revolve. It's already got the profile selected, which is a triangle. Which axis? I'm going to click on this cone here and it's going to default to join this time, which is awesome. Perfect, join. The only thing with this though is that when it is printing, these really sharp edges don't print great. So what you might do is grab the fillet tool, grab that line there and just kind of like sneak it in a little bit. So it's kind of ribbed, kind of pointy. Basically we ended up with a circle, didn't we? Let's do the last one and we'll do that together and then we'll send it to the printer and I'll show you any tips that I've got for printing. But otherwise you're golden. You're pretty much good to go. Let's flip this around. If you do get lost and you're like in no man's land and you're like zoomed off or zoomed right in, you can't find anything. See over here, the house, just click on the house. Puts everything back and kind of like up the right way in the right order. So let's do the bottom one. Let's do it again. Practice, baby. Let's go. Construct. I'm going to do plane along path. Which path? This top one there. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to grab the sketch tool, that plane, zoom in. I'm going to do my circle version of it here. And if you hover above this and then just slowly come up here, it's attaching. You don't even need to project the lines. Okay, I want it to be 1 mil. Perfect. Finish sketch, revolve. It's already got the plane selected. Click on this. You can see after a while, this gets pretty, I don't know, you get good at it. Last thing I'm going to do to tidy this up, if you're still around, is putting the hoses on. We might as well make this easy for ourselves by putting a little chamfer, not a shell. Modify chamfer. I want to chamfer this. I'm going to rotate around, hold shift and grab that. You can select more than one line at a time. Okay, I've got all 3 of those selected. Now what kind of chamfer? I'm going to do 0.5. It's not much, okay, but it just makes it a tiny bit easier to push this thing on. You could make it even bigger. Problem for me though is I need this to stick to the 3D printing plate. So I want a little bit of stuff here. You could put a brim around it or a skirt, that's all right. I can never remember which one of those it is, but that'll work. Click OK, let's send it to the printer. File, 3D print. I'm going to click on the object and over here I've set mine to go to my application 3D printer. You could just get it to go to export to an STL and import that directly into your slicer. Okay, I've already connected mine up. So I'm going to click OK. The one thing in here when you are exporting it, mine by default, I'm not sure if everyone does this, but my one, when it tried to export it, it exported as the settings were set to medium and they come through really clunky and yuck through the 3D printer. So set it to high and then open up your 3D printer. Got mine. How are you going to print it? That's interesting. We've got this big thing hanging out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select it. I'm going to go to my supports. Now you'll be using Creality has one. They're all very similar. They're all based off the same kind of underlying code, but the UI is different. So you're going to have to look for supports. Okay, so I got mine. I'm going to use automatic painting. Yours might not. You might have to paint yours on with a paintbrush. Okay, automatic painting, and it just goes purple where it thinks it needs supports. And there you go, just need it on the edge there. Perfect. All right. So I am going to go structural. My one you'll be different. I've got speed and structural. It's slower, but the layer lines are meant to be better connected. Yours might not have this. So even though they're both 0.2, I've got structural and speed. So structural 0.2 is great. I'm putting mine on a 0.4 nozzle. Infill, this is a good one. Let's have a look. Let's slice it and just see how much infill is actually being used. There is a perimeter around the outside. Okay, that's not infill, it's just the outside. If I go down, can you see mine's set to 2 perimeters, which just means it's filling that whole thing with 2 lines. Let's see if there's any infill. Is there any infill across this? Nope. Nope. That's purple stuff is meant to be infill, but it's not doing like the zigzag stuff. There it is. Okay, so there is some infill here. I don't like that for this part. So either increase it. Oh, actually, no, there's no infill. Can you see what infill, when there is big infill, it'll have gaps. Mine is a solid layer all the way through. So what you might do is set it to infill to 100. It's not going to change my one at all here. Okay. Or if you've gone for 2 mil or something thicker, you might have a little bit of infill in here. What you can do is go to your print settings, and what you're looking for is your perimeters. So my one's called layers and perimeters, but you'll find yours in your printer slicer somewhere. And mine's set to 2. You can just crank that up to something crazy high so that it will keep doing those circles around and not do the jagged infill. But mine doesn't have any of that, so it's the same. You see even here, so it's done the perimeters, but really, it looks exactly the same. There's none of that jagged infill. They know what you're talking about, Dan. All right. In terms of supports, I like tree supports, organic supports, but that one actually is going to suit me just fine. Now I'm going to hit print, and I have an adapter custom for all sorts of weird hoses that I had lying around my garage. Simple tutorial. I remember when I was learning though, this seemed really hard, so I hope it was useful for somebody out there. Let me know if it's helpful. I'll see you in another video. Bye.